So finally, I've tried everything possible to get this microphone to connect because it's been a long while since I last used it. So what I was trying to achieve is at least to put in a little bit effort compared to my previous video or my previous podcast where I didn't even care about the audio. So what I'm trying to do is to sorry about my background. What I'm trying to do is to keep things as simple as possible to ensure consistency. Okay, I don't want to complicate my life. My hands are full already. For those that didn't know, I welcomed another child, so I have 3 kids now. So as much as possible, I try not to complicate things and keep it as simple as possible. And it's also very possible that at the end of this video, probably the audio isn't even working. I've tried it and it was working before I started, but there is a light is blinking now and I've already gone through so much hassle trying to fix it. I don't know what's wrong with this one, maybe because it's been a while I used it or something. So I'm not going through the hassle again because I need to say what I want to say. So I'm going to tell you about something that happened in my life this year, which is the topic of this particular podcast. Maybe by the time I'm done, I will have a proper title for it. But I'm just going to share my experience in February. So February 2024 will always remain a remarkable season of my life. It will be really difficult to forget it. So why is because in February 2024, I and my family relocated from England to Scotland, thank God. And the second thing was that I started my training to become a general practitioner, or what other clients call a family physician. And in the same, in fact, let me just take it easy so I don't get ahead of myself. So I came to this country and started my new job in the new place, which is about 35 minutes drive from where I live with my family. So I was so enthusiastic when I started this job. Like I was so happy because it's been my career goal. It was a goal I set, I think sometime in 2021 or thereabout. And I had to do a different job as part of the career plan to help me reach this goal. So you can imagine how excited I was when I realized that I passed my exams and I got a position to start this job. So I was really happy, excited. And my first day at work, yeah, I predicted so. The audio is off. Oh my God. Okay, let me see if I can switch to a different audio. Okay, just give me a minute. I'm really sorry about that. Unfortunately, I couldn't even fix the second audio, so I just have to proceed, and hopefully I will invest in a different one just to keep it simple while producing something that has at least a little bit quality. I know it's not going to be excellent, if so just take me as I am, like I mentioned in my last video or the last podcast. I keep mixing the two. So what was I saying? When I started the job, I was so excited. I met with my supervisor. I remember what my supervisor said that at the end of the meeting. He said, "You seem so enthusiastic." And he was right. I was so enthusiastic. I was visibly excited about the job. I was ready to crack on, to the point that I told my husband that, see, I'm going to need all the support that you can give me for this job because I'm going to give it my 100%, if possible above 100%. And he supported me. However, 2 weeks into the job, still in February, I realized I was pregnant. And what started as an excitement about a job turned into I don't want to use a negative word. However, if there is an opposite of excitement, I was no longer, just unexcited about the job. I was no longer excited about the job because I had to deal with pregnancy symptoms. It was hard, guys. When I say it was hard, it was hard. So I had all the first trimester symptoms: nausea, vomiting, tired, uninterested in anything. And the interesting thing is that I had to drive 35 minutes to work. So that's February. That started off as an excited young lady that was ready to kill it at her workplace, ended with a lady that just wasn't excited. I remember was it sometime 25th, or sorry, I've forgotten the date, but one of the days in February, later dates of February, I was so sick, so unwell, that my GP had to come here to give me medication, to give me injection, to see if I can feel better at least. So I was off food, I was off water, I was only taking what drink was that again? It's I forgot to know, Lucozade Boost. You know, these are favorite Lucozade Boost that we used to drink. So that was what I was practically feeding on, morning, afternoon, night. So I was so averse to any kind of food. Even the ones I used to tolerate, I stopped tolerating them. So it was really terrible that at some point I hated everything. I hated everything. I was mad about the pause in my career. I was mad about how helpless I was. I was so helpless that each day I just spent my time in bed, like from morning till night. My greatest achievement then was just taking my bath, just that ability to get off the bed and shower was my greatest achievement every day. So from this excited young lady to demoralized young lady. So that was just the beginning of my 2024, of the change of my 2024. So I'm not sure how to share this, but I think I'm just going to be very vulnerable here, because I think that's the goal of this particular podcast. What happened afterwards? So a lot of things happened, but what stood out for me was that in those 6 weeks, I barely was noticed. My absence was barely noticed by the people I thought would notice. It was one of the saddest moments of my life. So if you've been following me on my podcast, if you've been following me probably on social media, if you've known me, you know that I'm someone that is so expressive on social media. Someone that is always there putting out content, trying to help people, creating lots of free stuff, even free coaching. So I was living in a bubble or an illusion that I had people, but I took my annual leave. I took sick leave from 26th of February, I remember. And I went back to work after Easter, probably 2nd of April or 3rd. But within that period, it was a period of 6 weeks. Within that 6 weeks period, I questioned my life. I questioned my existence. I questioned everything that made me Ezinne Nnamdi Lewis. Because of it's interesting I'm talking about this now, because I really pondered about it, and it has defined so much, so much for me. Like, it has made me grow in ways I never expected I would grow. and I'm just in my early 30s. So within that 6 weeks, many people barely noticed my absence, both from the social space. My absence from work was not felt because the work continued. My absence in places I was committed to was not felt. So you can imagine how sorrowful I was in bed. Well, I say bedridden because I was too weak to even leave the bed. I was too weak to even lift my phone and look at what's going on. I was too weak to do anything. I talked minimally. I communicated very minimally with my family. I barely ate. I was just on fluid. So you can imagine my sorrow when I was just in bed and people barely checked on me. That was when I woke up from that reality that there are so many illusions and very few real things. And one of those illusions for me was that illusion of feeling that I had lots of people who could look out for me. Whereas in reality, I barely had such. So for 6 weeks, I was away and unnoticed. I barely got DMs. I know this thing that people usually say when they come back on social media. They're like, oh, thank you all for checking up on me. Oh, thank you for asking where I have been. I barely got DMs to ask where I was. I barely got messages, even on WhatsApp, to ask, hey, why haven't you been sharing on your WhatsApp status? You know. So it made me question a lot of things. Am I really impactful, or have I just been struggling to prove my existence to people? Which I learned this phrase from an elderly man, a doctor, when I listened to him, and he actually put my thoughts into words, trying to prove my existence. So I was asking, was I really being impactful in people's lives, or was I just trying to prove my existence? See, this podcast is about wellness for the health, stress management and wellness for the African professional. An African professional that struggles, or an African professional that don't have that that community that look out for him or her will feel so isolated, and it will definitely struggle with their well-being, mostly mental well-being. So was I trying to prove my existence, or was I really impacting people with the things all the while I've been talking about stress management? Hey, manage your stress. Hey, these are tips to do this. These are tips to do that. Hey, I just launched my podcast. These are tips. I bring people on board. Hey, I have free coaching services. Hey, come on board. Let me help you. You know, and I was getting all this feedback, testimonial, even at no cost. People barely looked out for me. Looked for me. Ha! God. So that was the defining moment of my life, and I had lots of self-reflections at that moment. No, they're not. It's okay. So I had lots. Amy. Sorry. It's my kids. So I had lots of self-reflections during that 6 weeks of my life, which redefined things for me, which redefined the way I saw life, redefined attitude towards social media, redefined or helped me differentiate what was real from what was unreal, and which has also helped me to focus more on things that are real rather than the illusions, you know. And I can tell you for free that social media has lots of illusions there. Loads of illusions there, to the point that on my birthday this year, I decided something. I decided I wasn't going to put out anything on social media and turn off any reminder. Like, people don't really have to do that, you know. They don't really have to wish me happy birthday, Because let me tell you the reality, in case you didn't know. The reality is this: after they've wished you, or they've written happy birthday, I wish you long life, or all those sweet things they write, they go back to their lives as soon as possible. Unless it's people that really care about you, who go the extra mile to maybe pray for you, to maybe gift you something, to maybe call you up, have a chat, or to, you know, do something extraordinary. So the ordinary day is just to write you happy birthday. And then what we usually do is we put up, we dress well, or we take pictures, or some people do photo shoots, put it up on social media, and then that's the day they get loads and loads of comments. Some people use it to improve visibility and all those stuff. But I have to tell you this, please, it's time for you to focus on the real things. That's if you want to, because this is one of the things I've learned as well. I learned as well during my self-reflection weeks, that I don't have to tell you what to do. Nobody has to tell you what to do. Truths vary. What's true for me may not be true for you. So if you're listening to me and you feel, this is actually something I have to think about, that's entirely up to you. You know, that's totally entirely up to you. Okay, so that birthday, I didn't put up my picture anywhere. I didn't put up any form of indication that it was my birthday. So it was just a community I belonged in, that's where we put up our birthdays, where we feel formed to be part of the community, and then we put up our birthdays are there. That was where they celebrated me. And because I saw it as people just type happy birthday and go continue with their lives. So what next? What next? Don't just live in the illusion that, because I got 200 comments or likes, people really love me. I'm so known. You know, that's an illusion. That's not real. Because by the time you start checking who liked your comments or who didn't comment, or the kind of things they wrote, or the kind of testimonies they wrote about you, you're going to miss out on things that are really important, things that really matter. And when you keep missing these things, you miss out on the happiness that are so within. And I must tell you that particular birthday was so fantastic for me. I was so present in the moment. There was no social media, so so I didn't have social media to be checking up on, you know. So I was just so present in the moment, and my kids celebrated me in their own special way. My husband celebrated in his own special way. It was so awesome. It was so wonderful, you know, just being present with the people that really care. And I got calls from people that matter, people to me, actually, the people that really care about me. And it felt so genuine, without me trying to put it out there like I'm forcing people to do something for me. Whereas in reality, if anything happens, or if I'm found wanting, people will just go about their businesses because they are not genuinely interested in me. So I focused on things that are real, and it made a huge difference on my birthday this year. And I was like, okay, isn't it, wait, I know that you're getting all these thoughts, self-reflection and all that. Why not just wait and see if this becomes your reality, maybe after delivery? Maybe the hormones are speaking, because I have to tell myself the truth. So I've given birth, and I've been waiting for the hormones to fade. Maybe they faded away to an extent, but those ideas still remain. So at the moment, I'll still give it time, you know. I'll still give it time. I was going to say something else, but I'm so distracted right now because of my son that is calling. That is calling for no reason. So still, oh God. I think I have to end this podcast right now, because I've spent like 20 minutes. So that I can I can share the rest of my self-reflection moments that have really helped my mental well-being, or my mental wellness in this year, in particular 2024. I will not forget this year in a hurry. So if you can relate to any part of my story, or you think there are some ideas that, or you want to just challenge an idea or a reflection I had, it's okay. Please feel free to share. Feel free to share. Remember, I'm not imposing anything on you, and I'm happy to read what you think. Okay? Thank you, and see you again. Bye.